this is Valerie Moore from the Ferdarian Gazette. Thank you for joining us this sunny Wednesday, and for all of your support. Today is the 10th episode of our reenactment of the controversial book, Say I Slew Them Not, written by Kingsley Montefello, edited by Alexander Phillips, and narrated by Pepper Galloway. We are now halfway through Season 1, and if you've enjoyed our program so far and want to support independent journalism, please donate to our Ko-Fi at www.ko-fi.com/the Ferdarian Gazette. This program has been sponsored by Chetzlov's Fur Detangler. Have knots that just refuse to loosen? Embarrassed to go outside because of the state of your fur? Never fear! Chetzlov's Fur Detangler is here! We now pass the mic to Pepper Galloway, who will be reading Abolitionists Margaret, Leland, and Senator Devin Tossier refuse to testify in Kingsley's trial. Devin's letter to Caroline Galloway, July 31st, 1875. Dear Cara, Margaret and I are going to Bearcassa. I didn't want to get involved, but we can't ignore what's happening. Have you read Alex's coverage of Kingsley's trial? I didn't expect much when I heard Mustafa refuse to lead the prosecution, but I can't understand the prosecution strategy at all. I know their lawyers and paralegals are dropping like flies, and maybe that explains why they're all over the place, but their incompetence is going to drag this trial out, increasing the chance of a violent incident. I don't understand how you plan to prosecute Kingsley for war crimes and you don't prepare for an influx of pissed-off Ikatel and demons. Max Widmark, one of the lawyers Mustafa knows, planned this trial, and if Mustafa vouches for him, he can't be terrible, but he certainly isn't handling the predictable backlash very well. Or maybe the Hevians tied his hands. That's probably what it is. Although I don't understand why they would do that. Unless they want their streets swarming with demons, which I don't want to believe. I can't believe they would risk another continental war. If they wake Rezin up by hanging Kingsley, he will not rest until he avenges his old ally. Surely they know that. That's why Myra's administration let Kingsley rot under house arrest. Better to let sleeping demons lie. I don't understand what the current administration is trying to achieve. It's been a little over a decade since the Second Shadow War. Are they so selfishly blind that they'll risk complete annihilation for a third time just to prevent us from knowing freedom, peace, and security for the first time in over 100 years? We have to stop them, Kara. We can't let them rewrite the past in an attempt to restart the old colonial wars. Margaret says that's what this is about. Hiva's been a representative democracy for less than 20 years, and the old bastards are already trying to undo all the hard work we did. Trying to reset a non-existent clock to the quote-unquote good old days of Hevian supremacy. I haven't figured out how pissing off demons will help them achieve that goal. Margaret says there's something bigger going on, but I don't have the brains for those big picture things. That was always Carrie. God, do I miss them. We'll be getting off at the Bearcassa airport, and I'm going to find Alex. Will you join us? I know you have no reason to trust them, but I've worked with their family for decades. They are good people. Even if providing Kingsley the opportunity to share his view was a bit misguided. I know Kingsley is still manipulating me. I'm sure you've listened to his last few episodes. I can't believe him! Besmirching Ernest because Z were one of the few who saw Siegfried for who he really was? I expected to be painted as a coward. It's the only way Kingsley can explain why I left all those years ago. I'm a coward and fickle and unable to commit, but Ernest? One of our own martyrs? I could rant for hours about Heron's ouster. That bastard! As if Siegfried could ever handle a situation without violence. Heron stepped down because Siegfried threatened civil war, and by then Heron was too isolated from the rest of us to know that Sandy, Asia, Ernest, and I would side with him. Siegfried was good at that, keeping us separated from each other even though we were all in the same room. Kingsley must have learned it from him. The worst part is that Kingsley's playing the same old game. Today he claims Siegfried passed the leadership of the ILA to him. Two cousins united against the Hevian colonial empire. Tomorrow he'll claim that Marcus crowned him as his spiritual successor, and he counts on you remaining silent because you know he's not worth it. You and Carrie always knew what he really was, but the rest of the world, me included, can't stop engaging with his bullshit. I wish I could walk away permanently, but I can't. I can't let him do this again. I let you fight him alone last time because I was too weak and exhausted, but not this time. This time we end it once and for all. I wrote to O'Sheen, asking him to finish what he started. Margaret said I should have baited him by playing on his jealousy of Rezin. That's why O'Sheen turned Kingsley over to the Ferdarian army all those years ago. A jealous, wounded, spiteful act against an Ikatel he loved more than anyone else, but who had tired of him and replaced him with a demon. Maybe if I was cruel like Kingsley, I would have followed Margaret's suggestion, but I'm not. I trust O'Sheen will do the right thing. I hope we'll see you at Bearcassa Airport when we arrive. We won't be able to stop this chaos without you. We should arrive on August 1st at 2 p.m. Send my love to Cathal and Elliot. Devin. You've just heard abolitionists Margaret, Leland, and Senator Devin Tossier refuse to testify in Kingsley's trial from Say I Sue Them Not by Kingsley Montevello. Tonight's episode was read by Pepper Holloway and was sponsored by Chetzloff's Fur Detangler, the perfect detangler for a not-free fur with a luxurious shine. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky at Ferdarian Gazette, and go to our website www.theferdariangazette.com for episode extras. Join us next Wednesday at 5 p.m. for episode 11. Icatel President Cathal Galloway calls Hiva's proposal to close the Hivian-Kilbride border, quote, a grave mistake that will exasperate already high tensions.